Hello there, Libra. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of September 16th through the 22nd. We are going to be starting with Monday and working our way through Sunday. And I am just going to put out a little gentle reminder that this is a general reading, so just because something comes up on Wednesday doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen on Wednesday. Might happen Tuesday or Thursday, might happen Monday or Friday. Could be a couple of days of give or take there. Just because it is a general reading, we're not all on the exact same timelines. But hopefully this does resonate for you, at least for the most part. And if you feel like it doesn't, then you may want to check your rising sign. A lot of times, a lot of us act a lot more than like our rising sign than our sun sign. At least I know I do sometimes. And then other people also check their moon signs as well and find that helpful. Having said all of that, let's just put down some cards and get to the point. Let's get to the point. You guys have so many majors this week, it's ridiculous. Out of 7 cards, you guys have 6 majors. This is going to be a big week of change and transformation for you guys, definitely, when we have this much going on. Okay. First of all, Libra, is there some kind of toxic situation or relationship that you have been holding on to? And when Monday comes around, I feel like you're turning this loose. What I'm seeing is this rose is sort of, if gravity would affect this rose, where am I on the camera, then that rose would fall out of the person's hand as the grip would loosen up. And that's kind of what I'm seeing as I'm looking at this card, that whatever this situation is, that has been a thorny situation for you for a while now, I think you're starting to let go. You're starting to realize that, you know what, these thorns are not comfortable and they're not helping me. It's time for me to let it go. And I think that's what's happening for you on Monday. You're letting go of that thorny situation or thorny relationship, whatever it may be. Just, not holding on so tightly, not letting it cut into your hand anymore. Now, let's look at Tuesday. Here you have Papa Legba. The first thing that I always notice about Papa Legba is he seems to be some kind of gypsy. He's got this little, if you look at him upright, you can see that he's got this little pack over his shoulder. I think what we've got here for you Libras is that there have been things that have been happening for a long time over and over that have sort of impacted how you view yourself. And so your self-esteem is not maybe exactly where it needs to be or exactly where it should be. No, let me say that better. It's not exactly where it could be. You may not have an accurate picture of yourself and everything that you bring to the table right now. It looks like you've just had some things that have impacted you over and over and over to the point that maybe you've just heard things so much that now you're starting to believe them. Okay, let's look at Wednesday. Here we do have the storyteller showing up, and this is the storyteller in reverse. Actually, I think I like this card in reverse for you, because I see it really addressing the issue we saw from Tuesday on Wednesday. I see that you're really working with your own energy and developing your own energy, strengthening yourself. You are I think what you're doing is you're taking a really good look at yourself in the light. And you're seeing, you're seeing the negative, but you're also seeing the positive, and you're seeing that your positive far outweighs your negative. And you're realizing that, you can't believe the narrative that somebody else has been telling you for a while. It's time to start focusing on the real deal, and I think you're looking at yourself in a much more objective way that's much more based on reality and your actual behaviors and your actual words rather than other people's perceptions. Because here's the thing to know about other people's perceptions, Libra. We all have our own perceptions that are colored by our past. in whatever way. As humans, we really kind of can't get around that. Now we can do things to heal that up as we go, but also as we go, new things are happening that color our perceptions, whether those things are bad things, whether that's making our perceptions lighter or darker. Okay? So when I see this storyteller card coming up, I see you working on your own perception of yourself. And when you're working on your own perception of yourself, as you start to see yourself in a truer light, you start to be able to see other people in a truer light as well. And you start to be able to have compassion for them where maybe you didn't before. You start to see where they're struggling, even though it might look like they're just big a-holes. But you start to see the struggle. And here's the thing. Other people are also looking at you from their perspective, and they may or may not have done healing work. And so if they have some really foul things that have happened to them in their past, they may see you as the next reenactment of that coming down the road. It's not because of you. It's because of what's happened to them in the past. And so when you have somebody who is telling you that you're this or you're that or you're not this or you're not that, it's because they're looking through their own perspective, their own glasses, their own color of glasses. And honestly, some people have been through so much stuff that their glasses are just, I'm sorry, but they're shit colored. Then they can't see the good when it's right in front of them. And so it's important to realize that people have different perspectives based on where they've been, much more than based on you. And so what you really have to look at is, what do you think of you? Because what they think of you really has such a small amount of you, has such a small amount of anything to do with you. The only important thing to look at really is, what do you think of you? Okay? All right, well, let's move on, huh? 7 minutes and we've only been through 3 cards. Goodness. Okay, so on Thursday, Libras, what you have is the Moon card showing up in reverse. Moon card in reverse is telling me that there's some kind of situation in your life that you have felt like there was information that you just didn't have access to or that you didn't know about. And when the Moon card shows up in reverse, that information is coming to the surface. You're not digging it up. When the Moon card's here, you're not having to research, you're not having to dig, you're not having to pry, you're not having to ask questions, you're not having to pull teeth. When the Moon card comes up in reverse, that information is coming up to the surface. Just easily, naturally, organically. So you have information now that you didn't have before, and this information is making all the pieces of this puzzle fit together so things make sense for you in a way that they couldn't before because you didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle. Now when the Moon card comes up in reverse like this, what this tells me is that there's a situation in your life that you knew was funky. You knew you didn't know everything. You just didn't know what the rest of everything was. Now that you know the rest of everything, you may be changing how much you want to interact or be a part of that situation. This information may change things for you. Okay? It's important. It's a major arcana. It's important. All right, let's look next at Friday. Here what we have showing up is the Four of Scrolls, and the Four of Scrolls is a time of rest, downtime. Many times it's forced downtime, which just means that it's a day when you can't do everything that you would normally do. And the reason that you're not doing everything that you would normally do is something that is outside of your control. Okay? So this is not like calling in to work and saying you're not coming in, so you're not doing what your normal thing is. This is something like maybe your computer goes down, or you know, something like that. Maybe the car breaks down on the way to work and so you have to take it to the shop, or who knows. But there's some forced downtime that shows up here that's out of your control. Okay? Maybe you're just not feeling well and you're not able to do everything you would normally do. Now the silver lining on this card is that when we have that forced downtime, that gives us a chance to think about things that we don't normally think about. And since we're thinking about those things that we don't normally think about, we're getting a new updated perspective on those things. So we're coming out of this forced downtime in a much more healthy way than when we went into it, as far as how our perspectives are on the people involved in our lives and on the world in general. All right, let's look at Saturday. Libra, what you have is a sorceress in reverse. Sorceress in reverse is just telling me that you are really confused Saturday. Something is going on with someone around you, and it just has you really confused about what exactly is going on. And should I believe what I'm seeing on the surface, or are there ulterior motives? Am I seeing some red flags here? Or is this just a strange situation with explainable motivations? Okay, there's just a whole lot of confusion on Saturday. Whole lot of confusion. And then Sunday, Libras, you have the Celtic Owl in reverse. On Sunday, there's somebody who is passing along some wisdom to you that you might not have considered otherwise. Your perspective might not have been in a place where you could have sort of seen around the corner to this type of wisdom. But somebody is passing along some good wisdom to you on Sunday. It would be worth sitting up and taking notice, is what Spirit is saying. Maybe even taking notes. Okay, something very helpful, some helpful information on Sunday. Okay, so that is your week, Libras. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out. I do appreciate that. For those of you that these cards brought up questions for you that you would like to look at more deeply, or if you just have things in your life that you would like to look at more deeply, maybe not even touched on by the cards this time around, then go ahead and get a hold of me. I do offer private readings either by phone or by Skype. All my contact information is on my website, which is listed below. Once you go there, if you live in the United States, the best way to reach me is call me or text me on my cell phone. If you live outside the United States, text me on Skype. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And we'll get you scheduled quickly. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here and for sharing this video with other people who it may be helpful to. Thank you for my new subscribers, and thank you for my faithful subscribers who have been around since I started this channel in 2013. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for everybody who joined in between. Everybody have a fantastic week. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you here this week for readings, and the rest of you I'll see back on the next video. Peace out.